Morning. I'd like to call the Highway and Buildings Committee meeting to order on behalf of the chairman and vice chairman who's here but unable to chair the meeting today. Let's do a roll call vote and then we'll vote in the ones that are on the screen here.
Mr. Carrico, Mr. Dunnell,
Present.
Mr. Hess, present. Mr. Tholen, Ms. Weber, present. Mr. Featherling,
Present.
Mr. Long,
Present.
Mr. Hunter, Ms. Bryan, Mr. Collins, Ms. Hudson, present. Mr. Smith,
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand,
Present.
Mr. Gowler,
Present.
Mr. Raymond,
Present.
Mr. Wheeler,
Present.
Mr. Seroy.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I forgot that we did actually vote them in for the whole time of their rehabs, both of them, so we don't have to do that at each meeting. Under public comment, I don't have any requests. Approval of the minutes, October 14th, 2021. Is there a motion? Mr. Long, second. Mr. Smith, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under highways, this is Mark Rogers. I don't know if you guys have met.
All right, good morning. I do not have any bidding or lettings this morning. First thing we have are pay estimates. First one I have is for our 2021 general maintenance for the county supplement 3. This is payable to Grasso Construction Company for oil and ship work that's done in the county. That amount is $118,582.63. Next is for the county's 2021 general maintenance. This is payable to Vulcan Construction Materials. This is for road mix picked up at the quarry with our trucks, and that amount is $1,338.35. Next is Bourbonnais Township Road District for their 2021 general maintenance. This is payable to Grasso Trucking, and that is for spray patching that was done in the township, and that amount is $18,320.00.
Probably don't have that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably what happened then, is she probably, yeah. There's two of the Bourbonnais one in there then? Okay. Yeah, the other one is there were 4 invoices for road mix that was picked up at the quarry, and that amount was $1,338.35. Next is Norton Township Road District for their 2021 general maintenance. This is the final pay estimate to Kankakee Valley Construction Company for oil and ship work that was done in Norton Township, and that amount is $13,190.40. Next is Essex Township Road District for their 2021 general maintenance. This is payable to Vulcan Construction Materials. This is for road mix picked up at the quarry with their trucks, and that amount is $5,044.92. Next is Otto Township Road District for their 2021 general maintenance. This is payable to Vulcan Construction Materials. This is for road mix picked up at the quarry, and that amount is $2,974.49. Next is section 21-00000-BI for bridge inspections. This is payable to Engineering Resource Associates, and that amount is $5,875.00. And last is section 18-00305-00-BR non-MFT. This is for payable to Toby's Construction and Cartage. This is for bridge construction on the west of Bonfield on County Highway 6. And there are 2 pages to this one, and that total amount is $52,029.01.
Do I have a motion to combine and approve those? Mr. Long, second. Mrs. Weber, any questions? Mr. Hunter?
I was wondering, on this one to Engineering Resource Associates.
Yes.
Out of Champaign.
Yes.
I assume we have some local businesses that can do the same thing, right?
Well, the reason that I picked Engineering Resource Associates, they have
That's
been...
not your cousin, is it?
No,
No problem.
He's not my cousin. Engineering Resource Associates has designed most all of the bridges that have been constructed in the county, and when Jake Wolf, when Tim Hamilton left, and when I became county engineer, I couldn't be the program manager for some reason, and I didn't meet the qualifications. So I had to have somebody be our team leader, and he was qualified to be the team leader, so it just made sense to just have him do our bridge inspections.
Okay, thank you.
We had a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Dennell?
Aye.
Mr. Hess?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Mr. Featherling?
Aye.
Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson? Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Aye.
Mr. Galler?
Aye.
Mr. Raymond?
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on. Resolutions.
Resolutions, okay. I have a resolution this morning. This is the resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code. So to spend motor fuel tax, the county has to submit a resolution to IDOT for expending maintenance funds and construction funds. This is only for maintenance funds. This is from January 1st of 2022 till December 31st of 22. That amount is $3,887,466. This includes all of our oil and shipping, our overlays, our materials, salaries. A lot of things are in this, salt. Everything is under this resolution. So they have to receive this before they can allocate any money for us to spend.
Is there a motion to approve on this one? Mr. Hunter, second.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. We're not expending it here. This is just a voice vote, I believe. Yes, I believe so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Very good. The second resolution that's on the agenda, I have to pull that. I was awaiting a letter from the department establishing the salary for the county engineer. I thought said I was going to get that letter last Wednesday afternoon, and I have not received that letter. So hopefully I'll get this letter and we'll have to put it on another committee. So that's all I have.
That's it. Any questions for Mark about things going on? Just as a comment, I guess, this committee is not only highways and buildings, but it's in some cases bridges and waterways, because there's no better place to talk about that. And I'm getting word that, and if the committee wants to report on the history of this stuff, I'd be happy to talk through it at some point about the State Line Bridge and where that's been. Literally around the county, because it always wasn't at the state line. It was over 17 by where Skeeters or Fisherman's Wharf is. That used to be the bridge that went across the river there, and they moved it out to the state line. But we've got issues out there. It's basically a cow catcher for trees. And they cleaned it out about no more than 6 months ago. It was just, and now they're back. The trees are back again. They never leave, no pun intended. But they're wedged under the bridge now, and it's creating a lot of torsional stress on the bridge. And the big concern here is if that thing comes down, it's coming down on the Illinois side. And it's not a historic bridge, and it's eligible for historic preservation, so it means we just can't tear it down. They've got to find a home with it. It's a big mess that we're dealing with the federal government on, because it's tied to another bridge project. Bones knows the history on here. It serves, what do you think, 5 houses if it were open? I mean, 10 houses. There's not that many houses out there anymore. It hasn't existed for 20 years, over 20 years, a bridge. But it's this monument, and now the decking is missing. There's big holes in it. So we got some real problems out there, and we're trying to resolve it with Indiana, and have been. But now I'm getting word that the bridge is in worse shape than it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So I don't really know if we need to talk and figure out what we need to do from our side of things. I just told Mark, because I got the text over the weekend with the photos, and it doesn't look good. So the repair of that bridge was $7.5 million.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't even to make it for a fire truck to go across.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep its historic features. Yes.
And so if you restore it to the historic level of what it was, It'll never have a fire truck go across it. I call it a cyclone of stupid because it just keeps going around and around. If you restore it, it can't be a walking bridge, but that's basically all it's rated for going forward is in our current standards. I mean, it's amazing we're still even talking about it. But we're dealing with the feds, and the money to fix another bridge was tied to us fixing this bridge. Previous administrations had just basically signed a blank checks and saying whatever it was, we'll pay it. Well, now it came in at 7 million, and that's not even the approaches to get to it. That's just the bridge to fix it. But it'll never be fixed. So I mean, I just want to let the committee know it's something that's ongoing and has been, and I don't see a solution in sight. But the worst case scenario would be as if it falls on the Illinois side, because then we're spending our money to pick up that bridge out of the water. So. Wish I had better news, but more to come. I hope it's not an emergency meeting. So we got to get out there and figure out what's going on. So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
do you recall what it cost to have the trees removed last time, or did Indiana pay for that?
They paid for it. The River Commission I'm on paid for it. I want to say it was around 20 grand to clean that out.
I was thinking between 15 and 20, but I couldn't remember exactly.
And we may have to do some emergency allocations to do that. Problem is, water's high, so how do you get in? When you can get an amphibious excavator in there when the water's lower, that's typically when the best time to get them out is. But then what happens if you pull them out and then a bunch of them break free and float downstream and cause other problems? So you got to secure all the ones that are under there. It's just not as easy as getting the one that's stuck, because everything else behind it's going to come too. So John knows it's a very dangerous area of the river. That's where the gentleman lost his life and his dog, and they couldn't find him for a while. That was out there, and that they went on the North Channel at that point. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's been more than one, but that was the most recent. Was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. That North Channel is, if there were no trees there, it'd be about 15 feet deep, but they're all the way out of the water. So it's pretty bad. All right, sorry, I had to fill you in because if there's some type of an emergency, you should know. So we'll get out there and figure out where it is. So more to come. Anything else? Sorry.
Did you want me to just?
Oh yeah, please. Yeah, I asked Mark to give an update on Armor Road, Route 50, that whole corridor project. So.
Presently, I think the plans are completed. They do have to make a few tweaks in them. What we're waiting for right now is the right-of-way acquisition is coming along very slowly. Of course, because it's federal money, all these federal procedures have to be followed, which have specific dates between, okay, you have to notify them, and then they have so many days, like 90 days to respond. And then I was told that there's a couple that are going to have to go to condemnation. So, the court's involved. So other offers have been signed, others are still waiting signature. There are some utilities that haven't submitted their utility designs yet. That's an issue because the right-of-way fills up pretty fast, and how IDOT does it, you get your plan into us, it was first come first serve, so that process takes a while, and the utilities can't start relocation until they have the right-of-way secured. So that's another issue. The only other thing is we've signed all the agreements. The other local agencies have signed the agreements. Well, now they have to redo the agreements because there's a new law that goes into effect January 1st that makes IDOT pay for all the sidewalks and multi-use paths. So they have to pay 100%. That was included in we had to pay a percentage of that. So now they got to redo the agreement, and hopefully that'll just be a tweak and we can get those in and out as fast as they get them to us. But of course, they're still not fully staffed and not working. They're still working from home. So these things are taking a lot longer.
Hey, does everyone understand the scope of the project, what we're talking about? It's basically bridge to bridge. The county's the lead on this. We've got a good partnership going, especially the Township Highway Commissioners stood up, took the piece of road that was necessary to make all this happen. But it's widening the whole road all the way through there, 2 left turns in every direction. New stoplight where the stop sign is by Denny's there, coming out of the old entrance. That'll be dedicated and timed with the other one, so you just pull out and then keep going. No more backup of cars all the way to the bridge. That project is already let, I believe, the bridge.
The bridge, yes, the bridge is live.
So that bridge project, we were hoping they would go at the same time, and who knows, maybe they'll be close to be going at the same time, but we've lost our coordination window, if you will, due to, seems like land ac is what's held us up, but
Mostly land acquisition.
so it'll take the worst corner in the county and turn it into one of the most high functioning, is what it will do. You'll see times go down there, the K's and A's, as they say, the kills and accidents are gonna be impacted positively in that aspect. So, and that's something we did. It was the county's project, and we had good partners, but we're the ones that put our shoulder to the wheel and got it done to support that development out there, and know that you know, we're trying to create a look and a feel through that whole Bradley, Bourbonnais, because that's where three are coming together there. Bradley, Bourbonnais, and the county are all meeting. We want it to look ubiquitous to the people going through there. We want it to be a shining star of the area, if you will, to see from the interstate and glow, if you will, just like we want 308 to be the next one that we do that at. So it's one of those things where it's, you get one, you get it done, and then move to the next. So, any questions about that, Mr. Hunter?
Not necessarily about that. I was talking with the engineer earlier, you know, with this infrastructure bill being signed today, and I know it's going to impact us. I pray all the time when they talk about infrastructure about 312. Yeah, I was asking Senator Joyce last week if indeed this infrastructure, I guess, creeps down to us and the state and so forth. Maybe that'll be moved up a little bit before I die.
You know, when I said 308, I meant 312. Yeah, that's because you can't have an interstate exit dead ending into a graveyard. That does nothing for economic development. Just the opposite. So, I would hope so. There'll be decisions in Kankakee. What do you do first, Brookmont or 312? Because that bridge under there is in bad shape. But I think it's like $25 million to do that bridge.
And phase one of 312 is replacing that bridge on Walden Road. So that is let. So that's the first phase. Then they got to do the railroad bridge, the KB&S, because they got to widen the pavement before they can do that whole thing. So that is, it started, which I was glad to see that.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Okay. All right. Progress. It'll be not fun for about a year and a half getting through that corridor, but hopefully people will be able to see the end result is going to be something really nice. I guess, thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Get out of here. Les, next victim.
Wes is the best. My man. Elevator. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke.
I was hoping nobody would bring that up.
Well,
All right, good morning. Excuse me. Facility dude report for the month of October, we had 121 work orders in the system. Moving on to the financial report, October year to date, you have that there in front of you. This year we're at 889,874 versus 854,060 last year, and majority of that, as you can see, is contributed to line item 52,100, which is building repairs. Going through the rest of it, maintenance contracts, we're pretty dead on where we were this time last year. Miscellaneous services, which are repairs by outside contractors, we're below where we were at this point last year, which is always nice because that's a tough one to control. Miscellaneous supplies, 56,850, we're 20,000 under where we were at this point last year, so good news to report there. Vehicle and fuel, you can see we're up considerably on fuel, but fuel's up. So that should be pretty easy to connect the dots on that one. That's all I got. So any questions on the financial report?
Just more of a, I guess it's a educated guess. There's a lot of COVID reimbursement that's not accounted for on this. I think you had a custodial position or maybe part of two.
A lot of that was so if you look into the custodians under 5250, I got to check again with Steve, but I think a lot of that was allocated. He moved a lot of the expense for some of those COVID type expenses. So I can double check on that, Andy, but
Yeah.
I believe that's the case.
Okay. I know, like if it's building maintenance and things, like if we had constructed, like if it was part of a grant, it wouldn't manifest on this sheet. It would be still part of his budget. You wouldn't see the revenue to offset the expense. That's kind of where I was going with that.
Any other questions on the finances? All right, if not, we'll move on to, and I don't have a whole lot today, so we might make pretty good time here. 189 here, the elevator. We're still in the delay with electrical issues. I just sent some not nice correspondence this morning trying to get some activity going and an update on where we stand with the electrical upgrades. The word that I received was there were some electrical issues that were not in the original scope from Kone. I've talked to Kone about it. They've acknowledged it. However, now I'm being told we're having issues getting supplies, which that seems to be everybody's go-to nowadays. Whenever there's a delay on a project, you just say, I can't get the materials that I need. And excuse me, I can attest to it because it took me 8 months to receive a vacuum that I ordered in April. So I mean, some of it I believe is legitimate. I've been told by the electrician that they will be here next week or the last part of this week to get the electrical stuff buttoned up. Once that happens, Kone will be back. They'll complete the west elevator. That'll be inspected. Then we'll shut down the east one and move on to that. So that's where we stand on that. Any questions on the elevator? All right, moving on to the courthouse. I've got an update on the grant, and Chairman Wheeler, I was hoping you could help me through this one a little bit because I don't have a whole lot of experience in this, but we received correspondence from the DCEO, and they've informed us that the project is in the business enterprise program, has a utilization goal of 25%. So what that means is 20% of the grant dollars are going to minority-owned businesses, and 5% of the grant dollars going to female-owned business enterprises. So I've touched base with both Ben Wilson, who's been helping me on this, and Doug Bright. It sounds like some of this information is going to have to be incorporated into the bid packet. So, Chairman, do you have anything else you want to add on that?
We've run into this in the past.
Yeah, see, I haven't, so if you got any info.
And the state attorney's office will be spending time going through it. Some of the specialized work, we've had trouble finding MBEs that are versed in historical renovations. So we just have to prove that we're looking for them. But again, every case is different. So in this case, we'll definitely consult with state's attorney to make sure that we're doing things that grant needs to see happen. So I continue to push this forward the best I can. This is the latest update. Doug Bright is our architect on the project. He's working on engineering and putting together the construction bid documents, so we continue to move forward. However, I do so cautiously as we continue to work through the grant process. So they make it very easy for us, don't they?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
That's about it at the courthouse. Everything else looks really great over there. I walk through there several times a week. Nothing but good feedback. I try to touch base with Chief Judge Kramer as much as I can. Everything looks really good. The grounds look good. We'll have to get on some leaves here probably this week, but overall everything looks pretty good over there. Annex and old jail, the doorway in Tom's office is done. We're still waiting on the new door for the drug testing that we discussed at this committee a couple weeks ago, if you all recall. We're still waiting on that. I'm thinking probably a couple weeks because everything was custom on that door that we ordered. Still waiting. And again, this goes to the parts and what it's like trying to get things. If you remember, at this committee, we approved redoing the HVAC systems at the old jail in the CCTV in the nurses station. I think we approved that a couple months ago. We're still waiting on the equipment to do that. So it's just, it's tough. And I just got notice today that it's not cooling and it's hot in there. Well, I got to recharge the system again, and I've done it I think I've done it 2 or 3 times over this process since we approved the new one. So it's tough. It is tough getting a hold of things nowadays. Out at JCDC, we just completed, we had some boiler piping and some storage tanks for the showers and the sinks and whatnot. The copper was leaking bad. We've since gone through and redid all that. Cost us about $9,000, but again, when you got water leaking on the floor, you really don't have a whole lot of choice. So that's since been completed, looks great. At last month's meeting, I was excited. We hired a new employee. I regret to inform you that that didn't work out, so back to the drawing board on that. I'm gonna be, I've got some applications that I'm looking through. I plan to have a couple interviews, so that's something that'll be a priority here over the next month. We've also been stripping and waxing floors out there. The vacuum that I alluded to that I ordered quite a while back finally arrived. So we've been using that. We did the morgue. We did some floors going into the to the jail. We're also been doing some floors in public safety. So trying to get back on the schedule for stripping and waxing the floors out there to keep the place looking nice. Cabinet repairs, variety of cabinets are falling apart out there. I think we touched on this a little bit at last month's meeting, but the cabinet repair is underway. Out there in public safety, we're going to be replacing some door glass. If you've ever gone in the front doors out there at public safety, they're scratched, they're in really bad shape. I'm going to go ahead and replace those. Jail doors, been talking to the sheriff a little bit. We're going to be cleaning and painting some of the jail doors, you know, just to keep up on some of these sort of things and keep the place looking as good as it can. So that's all I got. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Anything, Mr. Hunter?
None. You're talking about finding WBEs and MBEs, and I know that that's the specialty that you're referring to. You might want to check with IDHR, Illinois Department of Human Rights, and their section, because you get certification through that office, and you may want to find out if they got a listing of MBEs or WBEs with that specialty. Just throwing it out there.
Very good.
Seems to me there was a database somewhere. The last time we did this, and they had to be pre-qualified, I think, in order to receive DCO money. That's
right.
So that, and we'll check with DCO also if they had that list. I know it exists.
Yeah, and the certifications through IDHR, I'm sure. So yeah, that's probably.
But it was very, very thin, if almost non-existent.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that was a problem. And if you start pulling those businesses out of up north, that scale is way different. So then our projects jump by 30%. So we have to figure that out, how to balance that.
Yeah, I did have some communication with Doug Bright, and he said yes, he's got experience with this, and the price tag just went up.
Yeah. But
those were his 2 comments.
It's what it is, 20%. Yeah. Any other thoughts, questions? So I got a few. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah, you're done. Yeah. All right.
That's one way to phrase it.
That's right.
I don't see any old business. Does anyone have any today? New business, other business, adjournment business? Mr. Hess? Second, Mr. Long? Surprised you all made it this long. 30 minutes? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All those in favor say aye.